Okay, so let's talk about the shape project. Let's go first and view the instructions here. So right in here we can see that we have the shape project, curvilinear, rectilinear instructions. When we click this, we're going to see just some text about what we're doing. So part one, you are going to be gathering your tracings on tracing paper, as it says here. And please notice that I'm saying contour, silhouette, outlines. This is just the outline. Please do not trace any of the inside parts of the shape. Again, you'll see the demo where I'm tracing some shapes, and maybe you'll get a better understanding of what I mean. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is that you're going to need 3 tracings of rectilinear and 3 tracings of curvilinear shapes, just to add variety to this project. So I'm asking a minimum of that, and then that way you can mix it in. Now for part 2, you're going to be using both the curvilinear and the rectilinear shapes in one compositional format. And then I'm going to show you a technique of how you can take your tracings that are done in pencil, and they will be inverted and then ghosted or rubbed onto your final format of 8 inches by 8 inches. The format here is, or the composition that you're going to be working on, is an 8-inch by 8-inch composition square, and then leave a 1/2 inch border around. Now if you're using cardstock paper, it's usually 8.5 by 11 sheets. If you're using cardstock paper, it's usually 8.5 by 11 inches. So just cut your regular letterhead cardstock or Bristol paper down to 8.5 by 8.5, and then your project will be on an 8-inch by 8-inch. So that should work out just fine. So you can see that right here, what I have delineated here. As you scroll down with the instructions, you're going to see that I did put some visual, further instructions, but with some visuals in here. And yeah, feel free to start reading some of this. You can see that right here, this is where we get it, from magazines. I understand that nowadays many of us don't have magazines, so I guess we're just going to have to do a lot of image searches. You can do image searches on, gymnastics. You're going to get plenty of body forms. You can even do an image search on tropical fruits or what have you for curvilinear. For rectilinear, hey, you could do a search on, military airplanes, cars, furniture. There's quite a few things. You're going to have to think about what are some objects that are very rectilinear that you can then project on your screen, on your monitor, on your iPad, and then use tracing paper and just trace right on there. But again, do not trace the inside of the object. Only trace the silhouette. So here you can see that there's a collection of tracings, and then we're going to compose them together and then put another piece of tracing paper on top and do a master tracing. A master tracing. Once you've done a master tracing with pencil, it's very important, you will then turn that tracing backwards so that the lead is facing down onto your final composition cardstock or Bristol paper. This is where you will retrace from behind. What this does, as you can see here, is that it leaves a ghosting of your lead pencil tracings. Then you will grab your felt tip markers, and you will carefully delineate all of those ghost lines, from the lead. The final part of this project is to go ahead and do the figure ground interlocking. And what that interlocking figure ground situation is that wherever things crisscross, in other words, let's just start off like this. All your shapes should be considered, or all your figures, which are the shapes, should be considered black. Wherever they overlap, that will become white. So your background is white, or the ground is white. The figures are black. And when they cross, wherever they cross, that new shape will be considered ground, which will be white. So you can see that right here. That's why I have the W's right there, and I had the B's for black. And you can see this example right here on the side. So I hope that explains quite a bit about the project. Of course, I'm going to show you a little bit with some demos, and project should be very interesting. What is the purpose? The purpose is to bring out new shapes, new things, new ideas, how things are. It's also, we're playing with composition. Our next milestone or our next topic will be composition. But for right now, I want you to use your intuition, your gut feeling. How does it feel? How do you want to lay things out? Are you going to scatter them out evenly? Is it going to be too concentrated in the center, too heavy on the left or the right, or what have you? So use your intuition, your sense of design. Later, we're going to be more intentful about our layouts. Okay?